Hey, welcome to another installment of Beyond the Pale. I'm here with Derek Thompson. We're going to get into the Aziz Ansari's sexual assault controversy and go back and forth and just break it down. All right. So you heard about this in the news, right?
I think I was in bed and I came across it while I was just looking some stuff up on YouTube. And it shocked me because I was like, out of all of the accusations that have been coming in and out into the scene has been really just kind of depressing as a man. And then to hear about Aziz Ansari, and I was just like, wait a minute, hold up. We're talking about the same comedian who is, for all intents and purposes, comes off as an average guy.
Yeah.
Like,
but you never can know what someone's like in their personal life because it's like all social guys.
No, and you're right. I mean, they're everyone's different, and what I know of him in the public eye is completely different than who he is personally. So that's what it was. We were watching the YouTube review about it. I think actually you sent it to me. It was the Young Turks.
Yeah.
And
I watched them, but it's 50-50 now because they were pretty cool, and now I noticed some biased things.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like 50-50, I agree, and then 50, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I'll watch more like Jimmy Dore, The Real News,
Mm-hmm.
RT America, Al Jazeera, just to get a broader sense. You know, a secular talk, Kyle, I like him.
Yeah.
But anyway, I sent you that link, and I was kind of like, what?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Because you sent it to me, and it was like late at night, and I went to bed, and then woke up the next morning, did my stuff around the house, blah, 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 looking for a job. And then that night, I started playing it, and knowing that how my wife is very opinionated, I was like, I'm going to go ahead and watch this and just see what happens.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't have, but I did it anyway because a lot of times, for me personally, I do it because I want to get her opinion on things because she sees things completely different than I do.
Well, she's a woman, and she has a different perspective, different background than you.
Yeah.
And, it's always nice to get an outside perspective, So what were the results? What happened?
So we both watched the Young Turks review of the comment from, I guess it's HLN.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And so they talked about the article, and I was like, you know what? I really want to read this article because one thing about me is that I'll listen to what they will broadcast on YouTube, the news, and whatnot. If it piques my interest enough, I will go to look for the original source. Excuse me. So I went on the internet, on my phone, and I looked up the Babe article. And the article reads...
Hold on. Can I just say... I support, and I'm glad that they have a movement, the Me Too movement, because it's horrible for women in the workplace and just women in general, trying to get past the glass ceiling.
Yeah.
And they don't need anything that's disingenuous to, hurt the cause.
No. No.
But, really? You're going to write for an article called Babe?
Look,
but anyway, that's me being petty.
I don't question it.
That's just me being petty.
I mean, you kind of got to think of it this way. They're taking the word back. It's kind of like the N-word. Black people took it back. So that's what women are trying to do.
Yeah, that's dumb. But anyway, let's move along.
I don't judge. Okay. So I found the article, and what struck me the most, just looking at the article itself, and it made me question, why did they use this picture? And it's Aziz looking like a deer caught in headlights.
Well, I mean, the picture says 1,000 words, so there you go.
Yeah. So anyway, it goes, I went on a date with Aziz Ansari. It turned into the worst night of my life. And just that right there alone just sets up the tone for how the article is going to read. Like,
well, yeah, I mean, it's on purpose. I mean, because that's what it's intended to. It's talking about
it's
a disastrous date. But when you delve deeper into it, it's like, okay, I'm thinking I came away with it. It was a bad date. And no disrespect to Aziz, but maybe Brother Man doesn't have any game. And that's just, or maybe she, like you were saying earlier, maybe it was just two different people on two different sexual, levels. Like, maybe he was, level 50 and she was, level 15. Yeah. And she wasn't ready for all that. But we'll get into that later. So just go ahead, if you will, just read the article and we'll just break it down.
You want me to just start from the beginning of it? Okay,
yeah.
So the article is actually written by Katie Way. We're reading this now, and it's a week old now. And like I said, there's a picture of Aziz in his black and white tux with a bow tie on it. Just, just like if anybody else was at a party, quick picture, and you're like, oh, kind of thing. So the way it goes is she approached him because she recognized his camera flash. Aziz Ansari was taking pictures at the 2017 Emmy Awards after party with a film camera, not a digital one. I stood up and I'm tipsy at this point and feeling really confident. I'm in a gown, and I walked up to Aziz and said, "What did you just shoot with?" Grace is a 23-year-old Brooklyn-based photographer, then age 22. Let me pause real quick because this is not her real name. This is her pseudo name that they gave her.
Well, yeah, I think people who are familiar with the story know that it's anonymous, so this is called a Grace.
But just in case somebody is just not.
But a little future caveat: the internet wins again. 4chan and many other underground type internet outlets have found her real name and her real account. You know what? I'm not gonna put it out there. So, but
really,
the internet knows who she is, and they have been. Relentless a little bit. She got a little pushback.
Yeah.
A little bit.
And in the article, they even admit to it. They go, "We're not using her real name to protect her identity because she's not a public figure." That sticks out to me, first off. She's not a public figure, but she put this business out here like she was.
So you're protecting a person because they're not a public figure, as opposed to if they were a public figure, then you would out them? Or use them? That doesn't make it... Okay.
If I'm a public figure, I would honestly wouldn't want my name tied to this because I have businesses to keep a hold of. So I would want to stay anonymous. But you're not a public figure, so why are you trying to stay anonymous on something like this? But I digress. Let it be.
That's a red flag.
She says Ansari brushed her off at first, but after he realized they both brought the same kind of camera to the event, an old model from the 80s, he was impressed. Now notice that she instigated the confrontation, so to speak. They flirted a little. He took 2 pictures of her. She snapped some of him. And then she and her date went back to the dance floor. It was like one of those things where you're aware of the other person all night. She said, "We would catch each other's eye from every now and then." Now I have a question, because this makes me wonder about her character just in general. You're on a date with another guy. You happen to run into another guy who has the same camera as you. Y'all hit it off. Y'all chit-chat. Me, personally, I think that's a bad date etiquette. And it shows me that she's just, kind of out and about. I would assume that her date didn't just let her walk off. Am I wrong in assuming that?
I don't know. Everybody's different. It's person to person. She's a free-willed woman. He's a free-willed man. They can do whatever they like. I mean, it might be rude to your date, but you can talk to someone else. You're not chained to them. So,
True.
I mean,
True. I guess.
It's a maturity thing, too. It's like, if you're on a date, you can't handle your date speaking to another guy. It's like, oh, why are you talking? Like, come on, bro. Like, don't go out like that.
I guess for me, it's just a possessive thing, and it's something I've been working on myself, but I know what you're saying.
Okay, therapy session. Activated. All right.
Anyway, so at this point, they ran into each other one last time, right as Grace was leaving. At Ansari's suggestion, she put her number in his phone. When her plane landed back in New York the next day, she had already had a message from him. They exchanged flirtatious banter over the text for a week or so before he asked her to go out with him on Monday, September 25th. The date didn't go as planned. The night would end with Grace in an Uber home, in tears, messaging her friends about how Ansari behaved. Babe spoke to the first friends she told about it and reviewed the messages on her phone. The day after the incident, she wrote a long text to Ansari saying, I just want to take the moment to make you aware of your behavior and how uneasy it made me. To that message, Ansari responds, clearly, I misread things in the moment and I am truly sorry. The mobile phone number from which his text to her were sent matches up with his details on a searchable public register. Okay.
So they're verifying that was actually him texting.
Yeah.
Right?
So, and one thing that gets me the most is that in all of the stuff that I went back through and listened to, he still got backlash for apologizing to her through a private message. And what kills me the most is that it's almost like they're trying to say that you made a mistake and you can't apologize for it and you're wrong and you shouldn't be trying to apologize for it. Mm. And it seems like it's sending a mixed message to young men that if you make a mistake or you make a mishaps, you can't apologize. You're already held accountable and guilty and you will be hung, basically. Guilty before any jury or review of the information can be seen. So, in my eyes, to me, that almost makes it like, well, I didn't do anything, so I don't have anything to apologize for. Like, I can't own up to my own failures.
I don't know. I didn't really get that impression at all. It's just, seems like, from what I heard, that when you're saying that you're sorry, that means you admitted to guilt or something like that. So, I don't know, perhaps if he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, you're crazy, it would have been worse, maybe? I don't know, but it seems like it's a lose-lose situation. Yeah. But it was criticism for him at least admitting, saying that he's sorry and all the other stuff. But I got the impression that he was like, I really didn't know, and I didn't understand that you didn't want the same thing or feel the same way.
So, I'm going to skip this portion of the article because it's really just about how they set up the date, I guess. Because I think we should just move straight forward to the setup of the date. So, in their last two articles, they're just talking about his background in his movie and what was going on. He was going to a red carpet event. So,
it's for a show, Master of None, right?
Yeah, I think so. He was getting an award for it or something. Now, before meeting Ansari, Grace told her friends and coworkers about the date and consulted her go-to group chat about what she should wear to fit the cocktail chick.
Use your words.
I am. This is how I'm reading it. Sorry. Dress code he gave her. She settled on a tank top dress and jeans. She showed me a picture. It was a good outfit. But we don't get to see the outfit of what she wore, really.
I don't think that's important.
I don't know. After arriving at his apartment in Manhattan on Monday evening...
Is that important? Are you trying to say that she's wearing a quote-unquote fuck-me dress? Is that... I mean, are you a little bit chauvinistic here?
Yes and no. I'm not going to lie. Yes and no. Because the whole thing is, as a guy that goes on a date, you look at a woman and you look at how she's dressed. You look at...
That's a fact.
You look and you say, okay... Is there a 50-50 chance I'm going to get laid tonight? Yes or no? And the reason for that, I think a lot of smart guys, is to know, do I need to bring protection or not? I would assume that's what they were thinking.
Well, I want to say that you always want to bring protection because you never know, it's spontaneous. But at the same time...
But you don't want to be bringing it and then she sees it. And
but how are they going to know? It should be like at your home or, in your car somewhere. But... And if she's so immature, it's like, why do you have that? Because I'm an adult that's single that has sex and I would like to be protected. that'd be on her assumption if she's going to assume that it was for her. That's just it's just in case it happens. It's just not for you.
You
That's
think
just,
this is for you, baby?
well, I know how it looks, but I'm just saying that would be my take on it. But I'm saying that I think that's, I don't know. We live in a visual world, so you look at somebody, but I would go out off of her body language and her intent, like, you know, because she could be dressed, you know, down and all of a sudden try to jump your bones.
Yeah.
And she could just, like, you know, very
provocative.
Yeah, very, very provocative, and all of a sudden be like very like prudish or like just like, oh, you know, like very, very ladylike.
I put it on display, but you can't touch it.
Yeah, and that's fine too. Respect the boundaries, right?
Anyway,
true. All right, let's continue.
All right. After arriving at his apartment in Manhattan on Monday evening, they exchanged small talk and drank wine. She points out, it was white, she said. I didn't get to choose, and I prefer red, but it was white wine. Then Ansari walked her to Grand Banks, an oyster bar on board a historic wooden schooner on the Hudson River just a few blocks away. Do you want to touch that?
I mean, I think that's just petty. Speak up, say what you want, be assertive. And if you're a shy person, you can't fault the other person for not knowing that, like not reading that.
But
like,
see,
I guess it might have been more hospitable to say, "What do you want?" But maybe he was trying to maybe be assertive and maybe out-mailish and be like, "Hey, I'm going to be assertive. Yeah. We'll have this. I know the restaurant is by my apartment.
See, here's the thing. Here's the thing, though.
Just say I don't point, like that.
They weren't even at the restaurant yet. She showed up at his house. He had white wine.
Oh, I thought it was a restaurant. So it's his house.
This is at his house before they even go down to the restaurant.
Well, just politely declined. Like, no thanks.
Exactly.
How hard is that?
How are you? I mean, if I come to your house and you offer me, let's say, Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
I don't like Coca-Cola. I like Dr. Pepper. I'll probably say, do you have something else other than Coke? No.
Or just say, no thanks, I don't really like that, or doesn't agree with you. Something like that. It's not like a job interview. It's not but maybe because it's a date and she wants to impress him, or I don't know.
But see, she could have played small talk and be like, you know, this is fine, but I prefer red wine. Red wine really gets me going.
Yeah.
And
or
set the tone. Use it as an icebreaker. There are just certain things that when I was reading this article, I could tell she hasn't really done a lot. It appears she hasn't done a lot of dating.
Maybe she could play it off something like, "Oh, man, I'll take white. I was hoping you had red." And like, "Oh, you like red?" You know, play into it that way. I don't know. Yeah, but
when
you're
young,
to me.
But when you're young, which is she's 22.
I don't go off of that because you have.
But I go off of that's a baseline of experience.
Yeah, but just because
you've only been around for 22 years.
Yeah, but. So I think it's just your mindset and your mentality. So if you can't speak up and say what you want or just politely decline, that's already a red flag for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, are you gonna eat some food that you dislike just because you're too shy or not aggressive enough?
Kind of like if you're allergic to shellfish and I order shellfish for you, you're gonna eat it still?
Are you gonna like do that social thing where just act like, well, I'm just not hungry. Just say you don't want shellfish. My God, I appreciate an assertive woman that says what she wants, so I can say, okay, cool. Yeah. I'd hate to be caught in the crosshairs or caught flat-footed like that. That's very deceptive and just, I don't know. Anyway,
all right. Grace says she sensed oh, sorry, I skipped a paragraph. Here we go. She said it was a beautiful, warm September night. They discussed NYU comedy and a new secret project he was working on, but she says she did most of the talking. Okay, so he let her talk and was listening to what she had to say, which is good. Grace says...
Hold on. Why does that matter, though? Are you going to stereotype that women like to talk and men just like to just listen? Like women like to hear themselves talk? Now, I found that in my personal life to be true to some women, not all women.
Not all women.
But... I don't know. Maybe I'm just being petty. Like, is that important? I guess it's explaining what happened. I guess
to an extent it is, because then that gives her the ability to realize that you're a good listener. You're not trying to override the conversation all the time.
Well, to me, I think that's just maybe a comfort thing. Like, okay, you let me talk now. I can get more comfortable by talking, and he's probably genuinely. I can't.
here. She says, Grace said she sent Ansari was eager for them to leave. When the waiter came over, he quickly asked for the check, and he said, let's get off this bus. She recalls there was still wine in her glass and more left in the bottle. He ordered. The abruptness surprised her. Like, he got the check, and then it was bada boom, bada bing. We're out of there. And she took
Did they actually say that in the article?
Yes.
Bada boom, bada bing.
It's right there, black and white, my friend. Bada boom, bada bing.
It's a little jersey there, little jersey. Hey,
hey. And
wow.
They took a picture of the food. And like I told you before,
I'm not young, I'm not old, but I don't know, middle, I guess.
But like I told you,
I don't do that shit. Like, oh, look at me taking pictures. I mean, right. Yes, of course. The picture for this podcast is food, but I don't generally take pictures every day. Like, look at me, I'm eating this. Like, who gives a shit?
But I mean, like I was telling you before, when we talked about this, that's the wine glass, and you see how big the glass is itself.
Yeah,
and it's half full.
Yeah,
so we don't know how much wine was poured in both bottles.
And and it was reported that she's a tiny woman. So
yeah,
if she
drank wine, she drank some wine at his house.
Okay,
we don't know how much, but we know she at least had to have drinking 8 ounces, maybe less. I'm being generous on how much. And to be honest,
maybe she took a sip. You never know.
She may have took a sip. She said she didn't like white wine, which that's what is on the table right now. Is white wine.
Like, at some point, say, hey, I really don't want white wine.
But see, the whole point of white wine is it pairs well with lobster, which is what they have. They have like some weird lobster roll.
That's great, but it pairs well with my personal taste, and I don't like this shit. So, give me red wine, bitch.
Take this motherfucker back. So, here we go. They walked 2 blocks back to his apartment building, an exclusive address on Trebicas Franklin Street, where Taylor Swift has a place too. I'm not sure why they put that in there, but they had to.
Name drop.
When they walked back in, she complimented his marble countertops. Marble slabs? No. According to Grace, Ansari turned the compliment into an invitation. He said something along the lines of, how about you hop up and take a seat? Within moments, he was kissing her. In a second, his hands were on my breast. Then he was undressing her. Then he undressed himself. She remembers feeling uncomfortably at how quickly things escalated.
So pause. When you hop up on there, okay, I wouldn't have hopped up on there, but you did. That's no harm, no foul.
No harm, no foul.
She starts kissing you. At that point, I would have been like, whoa, calm down, cowboy. Let's take it easy. Calm down. But, okay, let's say that you're into that. Okay, cool. He starts touching your breast.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, what the fuck are you doing? We're just making out.
Yeah.
We're not doing second, third base.
I can't count how many times I have inadvertently or even intentionally touched a woman's breast.
Yeah.
Quickly. No. I'm not like that. Don't touch me there. Oh, sorry. Done. Yeah. That shuts you down quickly.
Yeah.
So, at that point, that was one time where she could have put him in his place and said, hey, no. But we're not victim blaming, so...
Yeah. But, I don't know.
But hold on. Let me get to this next paragraph. Let me get to this beginning paragraph for you real quick.
But hold on. I saw on... I want to look it up, but I couldn't find it. Something... She's under Brit something or Brittany on YouTube, and she was saying that consent is sexy, which is cool, but is that more realistic? I think it's great, but is that realistic in today's times? So if a woman comes up to me and I'm attracted to her and she's attracted to me and she kisses me, okay, I wanted the kiss, right?
Yeah.
But should she ask every time, like, can I kiss you? Because it kind of kills it, like it takes out of spontaneity. I get it. I get it, but I'm saying, is it more realistic?
Excuse me.
I agree with it, but I think it's context and the situation.
Exactly. And in this situation, it was a date. They had been drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And even my wife has told me that would kill the mood if you were to stop and say, "Hey, can I kiss you?"
In my personal life, actually, that helped. I followed that rule and it messed things up. I was with the young lady and we were in her car, and
I tell you all the time, what's wrong with you?
I try to be a gentleman. Whatever. Anyway,
right?
So we're in her car and I'm leaning over, and I pause. I'm like, "Can I kiss you?" And she was kind of like, "Well, I mean, you could have, but you just kind of asked it." I'm like, "Well, fuck, I don't."
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that it's wrong to do that, but it's my personal thing. I've done it before and it worked, but in that particular time, I was like, "Can I kiss you?" And it killed it.
It's one of those things
I should
where
have
you
went
just
for it.
don't know.
So it's, I don't know. It's like I said, situational. But it's a gamble. It depends on like what you want to do. Do you want to gamble and lose, or do you want to, or it's two different losses. Either you can like not get the kiss and not progress, or you can just be like, you know what, I'd rather be safe than sorry. Okay, I didn't get the kiss. That's fine, but at least I safeguarded myself and I still asked.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Or you can win and win. You can get the kiss and then she regrets it, or you can be like, oh, I respect you more because you asked. So it's a
50-50.
It's personal. I think it's person to person again.
It is. Now, here's the other thing that gets me on this too. I'm going to read this first line and then I'm going to stop. When Ansari told her he was going to grab a condom within minutes of their first kiss. Pause. Anytime a guy says, "Hold on, baby, let me go get my condoms,"
the sex is coming. What's with all the sex? You young kids today.
I don't get it. At that point, and this is something in my mind, I went straight to my own daughters because I have 3 daughters. One of them's about to be out of high school. And it's one of those things where I'm like, if you go to a guy's house and he says, "Hold on, let me go get the condoms," and you don't want to have sex, that's the time you need to say, "Hold on, no."
That is the window.
That is the window of opportunity.
That is the window. Go, pump the brakes.
Exactly.
No, we will not be having sex tonight. That will not be happening.
And at that point, if he gets upset and says leave, then just leave.
Yeah, because obviously he's not mature enough and he will respect your decision. You know, so, yeah, but...
I digress. We're not victim blaming. Again, we're not victim blaming. We're just pointing out... I'm not victim blaming.
Let me clarify. I'm speaking for Beyond the Pale Lobo here. It is... I'm going to clarify. I'm going to timestamp this, bitch. It is this January the 21st. Okay.
2018.
I know what date, the year it is. Shut up. 2018. I'm a little flustered. And I do not think that she is a victim. I don't think Grace is a victim.
Okay.
I don't.
I agree with you on that.
I personally don't. So I'm not victim bashing or victim shaming. I think that this is a bad date, personally. Even though we're going through it, breaking it down, and I'm coming up with new understandings and everything of it. But overall, my position hasn't changed. I think it was a bad date. Okay. It was a misunderstanding because of miscommunication. We're gonna get into that later.
Oh,
but
man, so many miscommunications.
But I think it takes away from the Me Too movement, which is great, and it's for real. Like, I'm gonna say real victims.
Yes,
I'm going to say that. And I'm not. You don't have to endorse me. That's your own personal opinion. I'm saying that's what I think. And it takes from. It's kind of like, we're getting off subject a little bit. It's like police brutality, right? Mm-hmm. When if a cop does something to me, but he's within his legal right and he's like a professional, and I just go, he was doing this right here. That bullshit takes away from people that are really getting their rights violated and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, you're not respecting the culture.
And I think
it's bullshit.
I think for me, when I listen to this, I don't think it's in that full on, because you got to look at a lot of stuff like a spectrum. You have this over here that's not rape, it's consensual sex. Yeah. And then you have this, which is full on brutal, fucked up rape.
Yeah, but let's
somewhere in the middle is everything else in between that.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that scenario that you just said.
Why?
Because I believe that everyone has a thought process. Okay, and sometimes you're in the moment, but some things is premeditated, and sometimes you think on something. You know what I'm saying?
But that's why I said there's full on
everything's
just
a conscious choice.
Out the door rape.
Now I think
versus something
that's
consent.
Rape is when you don't have a choice. When you do have a choice, it might not be a great one. It might be a smart one. It might be a stupid one, but it's your choice.
But
so if you do that, you put yourself in a situation. Now, you don't have the right to be sexually assaulted, man or woman, but you make a choice. Remember, and delving into your past a little bit, your personal history. Remember the young lady that you dated, and then you broke up, and what happened to that young man? She met him at night. He was a married man, and what happened? She was a virgin. I guess he defiled her, maybe. And she had strict parents. I think she got caught, and she said that he raped her. You went across town, met him at 11 o'clock at night in a hotel room. Yep. I'm not saying that sex had to happen. You can sit there. You don't have to have sex with the man. But I'm assuming.
And if I'm not mistaken, they met at a hotel.
Yeah, I'm assuming that you went there for that intent. And afterwards, you got caught. I think that's when you threw the guy under the bus. Yeah. He was married anyway, so he was out of pocket anyway.
He was out of pocket and just doing that. But yeah, it was really jacked up because
that's fucked up.
They arrested him while we were all at work. Yeah. Like, it was a public thing, and I was just like, what is going on?
Yeah, that's horrible. And it's even if you're exonerated, that's still that stigma. It's like if I get accused of a rape or child molestation, even if I didn't do it, and I'm cleared, that's still stigma. That stitch is going to be on me for life, or at least for a good long time.
And it's funny you say that because
it's horrible.
I told my son in the situation on this because I did have him read it. I told him, if you ever come across something like this, leave. Have her leave. I don't care. I would rather you... I told him to his face, I said, I would rather you be called a dick, an asshole, a piece of shit, or a damn freaking lecher outside of being called...
Did you use the word lecher? What are you, from the feudal era? Jesus.
I would rather be called...
Yeah.
I'd rather be called anything else other than a rapist, sexual assault, any of those things, because they carry with it such a label, like you said, that it can tarnish his name, it tarnishes his reputation, it doesn't allow him to get a job in certain places.
Well, I think it's different from, I hate to say that, but I think it is what it is. I believe that the stigma is different for men than women. Because if you sleep with like if you're a teacher, or let's say that I'm a 45-year-old woman and I sleep with a 16-year-old kid, and people know about it. Okay. If I'm a man, I'm 45 and sleep with a 16-year-old, people are going to try to fight me. People are going to, I don't want this guy in my neighborhood. I mean, it's different. It's really, it's a different ball game, different climate.
It is.
So, unless it's like a 10-year-old boy, even then, still people are like, well, that's messed up, but well, you know.
No, that's still messed up.
Yeah.
My wife is one of those women that's like, no, she needs to be thrown in jail.
Yeah.
You throw a man in jail for doing it, you need to throw a woman in jail. And I have to agree with her on that one. I mean, granted, every 17-year-old kid has that one teacher. They're like, oh, man. Oh, did you see Mrs. Woodson? Oh, dude. And it's like, yeah, that's teenagers.
And the females have that, oh, my God, I love
Coach.
Mr. Such as,
Coach such as. It's always
he's
Coach.
So, well, sometimes it's teacher. Like, oh, he's so whatever. And they're like, and the teacher's kind of like, whoa, back up. It's like, I can stay like, no, you need to go home. Yeah. So, but anyway, we're getting off topic.
To mind, standing too close to me.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to start back at the beginning. When Ansari told her he was going to grab a condom within minutes of their first kiss, Grace voiced her hesitation explicitly. I said something like, whoa, let's relax for a second. Let's chill. Okay, so she did say something to him before he went and grabbed it. All right, so I stand corrected on that. She says he then resumed kissing her briefly, performing oral on her, and asked her to do the same to him.
Wait. See, I was just in my head when you read that. I go, I'm about to do something I really do, because I'm not too big to say I was wrong or I retract that or whatever. I was like, okay, you know what? Because I believe that. I've been in some firefights. I've dicked some women down in my day. Okay, but in a situation, and I've been in a situation, and I stopped.
Oh yeah.
She will not be named. I was in the middle, handling my business, and she's like, stop. I'm like, oh, okay. Got up, was like, whoa. She's like, I
got one better than you.
And I was like, yeah, all right.
Oh.
I didn't get mad. I was like, okay, because I'm like, I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to do anything.
See,
I'm very paranoid about like people trying to set me up for shit, and because you never know.
At least you got
a black man in America.
In the middle.
Fuck that. Nope. Nope. I almost want to secretly record girls and be like, yeah, you're legal, right? You want to have sex, correct? Okay, cool. Your name is. Okay, and then like I almost want to do it. Like I'm almost. You see that I got the little recording tapes out there and my little recorder. Yeah, that's real, people. Like I'm paranoid.
See, I have you beat. I finished. Man, just finished. And she just went to sleep.
Oh, well, wait. Like you were having sex? Or?
No. I did the same thing Aziz Ansari did.
Oh, you were going down on her?
Num.
Okay.
Delicious.
All right.
And then she went to sleep.
Well, that's not really the same thing. She just kind of gave you a one-off, man. I mean, guys do that to girls. Like, oh, yep, give me a blow, Jay. And then it's like, all right, I'm done.
Dude.
What about, yeah, well, I got what I wanted, so that sucks. Like, what are you going to, you get mad, but he still got what they wanted, so it's not really the same thing as...
It's not the same thing.
Stop, in the middle.
But I'm just saying, at the same time, that still means stop. Unverbal cues.
Well, she went to sleep after you performed your duty.
Parentheses, that she didn't go to sleep. She just...
Well, faked it?
She was done.
Okay.
And just...
Well, you kind of got, like, softly rejected. Like, okay,
yeah,
you're done. But
this is my
situation, though.
But see, here's the thing. Let's say she was sleeping and I was like, I know you're not sleeping. We're going to do this now. Then at that point...
Yeah, you'd be trying to force her.
Exactly.
That's not cool. Yeah.
And that's my point, is what I'm getting at. So
my situation is different.
Yours
we're in the middle, and
You're
I stopped.
In the middle and she stopped.
I'm not going to disclose why she wanted to stop, but she wanted to stop, and I'm like, okay, I agree.
And in your situation, she stopped you, but in my situation, it was I got mine and I'm done with you.
Yeah,
and that's just as bad in the sense. That's actually worse, in my opinion.
Well, that's rude. That's not assault. That's just being a jackass, a jackhole.
But see.
You're just salty because that's what happened.
I am salty about it because it's wrong. Because it's like, if I did that to her, then I would be perceived to be a dick and asshole.
Well, but she's perceived to be an asshole because she did that to you. So, I mean, fair play.
Yeah.
So, it's not the same. So, anyway.
But I'm just saying...
Don't you use my show to work through your issues, damn it.
No. What I'm saying is that it could have changed into something
violent,
dangerous.
Yeah, if you had a different mentality, you're like,
exactly.
Because I've had friends in conversations where like I actually the same situation. I went down to her and she was like trying to play sleep, and I went in the bathroom to wash my mouth, and all that good stuff, and I came back and she's like, sleeping. He's like, So you like got on top of her and was like, I know you're not sleeping. Start kissing her, and she was kind of like smiling.
Exactly.
It was playing, but then they started doing it, whatever. She was like, but I don't know from that perspective if she really wanted to, or she was just playing, or she was like, fuck, now I have to because he's on top of me, and I guess I
exactly.
So and that's very. But I say that situation, they need to be verbal.
And like you said, being a black guy in this America.
Well, there's a white guy that was telling me this, but I'm saying yeah.
But being a black guy in this America, and the person she was a white girl.
Okay. Mom was Asian.
I can't,
Putting that out there.
It's like, you can't do that because the minute that would have happened, what? Well, sir, she said no, and blah, blah, but I'm still in the role because I did something, because I felt I deserved it.
Okay, well, we can take another scenario, remember? Our ex-friend Jeff?
Yeah.
Remember his wife, right? And I'm told for that because you said that before. Just because you're married to somebody doesn't mean you can't rape them. If your wife says no, you have to respect that. It's her body.
I don't
want to know that. But anyway, damn it!
I was saying you have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. So anyway, no, but remember what happened to him, and he was freaked out.
Yeah.
She said that after they had sex, he was like, "I don't remember having sex," and you raped me, and he was like. He was freaked out.
Yeah.
She did that as a manipulation move. Like, that's really fucked up. They're married. She comes on to him, and he's like, okay, I guess you want to fool around and have sex. All of a sudden, she's like, what happened? What did you do to me? He's like, what are you talking about? Like, after just finished, like, literally 2 or 3 minutes afterward, what happened? And there's a police report, and he's like, I'm freaking out. And all of a sudden, the police, the white boy, thank God they believed him, was it in Plano?
Yeah.
And they were like, so where are your sons? They let that go because I can't see me or you, our black asses get out of that shit. We would have been locked up, at least detained, and there would have been like you need to delve into this. You need to see if you really accosted her, your wife, and you need to look backward, all that bullshit. They just kind of like we full of shit, and then they wrote it off. He got very, very lucky, and all of a sudden this year, a bit later, oh well, and he kind of played it off, and he's like, it's really fucked up. But that's your wife doing it. That's really fucked up, bro.
Of somebody doing something not exactly, but parallel to that in the way where you're basically slandering somebody's good name and causing them more pain, more damage than what you got in any of this altercation.
Well, you can't say that because yes.
At what
I
point,
agree and I don't agree.
At what point is she going to get damaged? First off,
well, 4chan.
We'll push that to the side for now. But first off, she's a photographer. She's an up-and-coming photographer. Yeah. And being a photographer, you're behind the camera. Nobody's really ever going to really see you. Yeah. He's already in front of the camera. He's already out there. He's already established. Yeah. He has a brand that he has. Mm-hmm. And by her doing this, it attacks his brand and his character.
I understand that, but I'm saying, who's to say... I agree with you, but I don't agree with you. I agree with you in the fact that, yes, he has more to lose than her. But I don't agree with you because who's to say, who are we to judge what range of pain? Because she, in her mind, even if she's wrong, in my opinion, in her mind, she could have said, I've got fucking raped. I got assaulted. And that could fuck her up. Yeah. Like, relationships, not want kids later. Yeah. You know, so it kind of evens out. That's why I say I agree, but I don't agree. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
So who's to say? Like, it's like, oh, I got whoopings too when I was a kid. Well, I got whoopings and it affected me, you know what I mean? So.
All right, well, let's get back to this.
All right.
I said something like, okay, yeah, already read that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so, briefly performed oral on her and asked her to do the same thing to him. She did, but not for long. It was really quick. Everything was pretty much touched and done within 10 minutes of hooking up, except for actual sex. Did you want to say something to that?
Yes, I did.
Please, go ahead and commentate there.
Well, basic rule. Now, I'm not an expert, but seems to me... If you guys making out with you, fine. He touched your breast. You're not cool with it. I would speak up if you didn't, okay? He says, I'm going to get a condom. You should say, really, hey, we're not going to do anything. Mm-hmm. Maybe you just want a little heavy petting. Okay.
Okay. I can deal with that.
You know, you let him go down on you. You probably shouldn't let him go down on you. But if you're just, if you just want some head.
Heavy petting to her.
Yeah, no, if you want some head, hey, a lot of guys want head.
Who doesn't want head?
Who doesn't want head, right?
Right?
Girls, guys.
WWE. Who wants head?
I don't know what that means. But anyway, so okay, and then she was nice and she reciprocated oral. Okay, fine. At that point, because there's so many chances. At that point, like that's all I want to do. I just want to mess around a little bit. I don't want sex though. I don't know that well. I don't want sex.
I would think the inhibitions would be thrown to the wind at this point because obviously they're not clothed at this point.
Yeah, but it's like, you know what? I'm not feeling it. I don't
want
sex.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't want sex right now. I think she did do that. I think she did say no when I think reportedly, so okay, cool. Or something like that. Well, let's continue into the article.
She says Ansari began making a move on her that he repeated during their encounter. The move he kept doing was taking his two fingers in a V shape and putting them in her mouth, in my throat, to wet his fingers. Because the moment he'd stick his fingers in my throat, he'd go straight for my vagina and try to finger me. She called the move the claw. Now, this is
fucking embarrassing, bro. Like,
this is where I say,
I mean,
like you said earlier, he's a level 50. She's a level 15.
Yeah. She called that the claw? Really?
Yeah.
He's just probably flicking the bean.
Foreplay.
Yeah.
Like, This is what adults do.
It seems like he's trying to be more sexual. Like, I'm going to use like your saliva. Like, you're sexy. You know, because I'm not going to get into my personal stuff. But anyway, like,
and the whole time I'm reading this article to my wife, and she's doing the same thing. She's like, "Okay, what's wrong with that?" And it's like, and I stopped to say that because when you have people who are at different levels, whether it be health experiences, writing experience, interacting with people, things are going to be viewed from a different perspective. Yeah. If I get a girl and all of a sudden she comes out with like what's the change, I'm like, whoa, what's up? It's like giving me, I'm like, what are you doing? Okay. Out for, I guess. No, no. It's a Women's Day. Like, why you stick something on my ass? Like, that's not. Yeah. That's not that cool. That's not that cool. And I just stop it. But anyway, no, I know what you're saying. I kind of get that concept. Yeah. So, like I said before, you think it was two different levels. Yeah. And like, I'm not ready for all this. And she was like, oh. Don't put on freaking Pantera. Put on Drake. Okay, you know, you made a music reference. All right, well let's. All right, can't just
so sorry, you get a point deduction for that.
Yeah,
because that's a nonverbal sign.
Okay.
You still should fucking speak up because you're an adult. But that's a big sign. Maybe, but at the same time, they've been drinking. Maybe she's nervous, or maybe I don't know. It could be construed that because you want sex. And she's like, maybe she's nervous. Maybe I need to be more aggressive. Or maybe I need to be more tender or whatever. That's fine. But she's taking a hand away, clearly. But then she just sucks your dick. So what the fuck? I sound like a sorry now. What the fuck?
Exactly. And that's what's really confusing because, like I said, I let my son read this. And he's about to be 14 going into high school. And in high school, you get charges like this. This really fucks with you.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I know some people are like, well, I would never let my son. I'm like, no, because he's getting into that area where girls start learning how to, quote unquote, be manipulative, learn how to do certain things. And not saying that they're doing it to be callous.
We're not going to get in the friend zone controversy. We'll talk about that on another podcast.
Woo! But you don't want to. You don't want your sons to be caught in a place like this.
Well, it's like I think Jank said on the Young Turks. It's a cultural difference now.
Yes,
I believe. Don't quote me on this, but I believe he said 40% of millennial women think that complimenting or offering to buy a woman a drink is harassment, and I was kind of floored, like. And he was saying, well, how are we supposed to communicate? Like, if you're a 22-year-old, 20-year-old millennial, and I'm like, oh, I like your hair. Oh my God, this guy's on my dick. Like he's on me. Like it was just a compliment. Calm down for one. Get out your feelings and your ego. Shut the fuck out. But at the same time,
you can say no.
Well, it's not that. It's just a compliment. But at the same time. I'm kind of anti-people a little bit, so I kind of, sort of, quasi get because like you're bothering me. You're in my personal space. Why are you speaking to me? So I get it, but I wouldn't be the extreme where you're harassing me. You might ignore me, like, you know, back in the day. Yeah, we're like at dinner, and a girl comes up and she's taking her order, and she just has to sit like oh yeah, and like feel my arm. I'm like, why are you fucking? But that's different. That's a touch barrier. That's a bad example. But yeah, I view it more as not harassment, like annoyance, not being harassed. Like hey, I like your hair, Lobo. I like your hair. That's cool, Mohawk. I like your long hair. Can I touch it? Like no, or like your hair, like you know, they're not doing anything wrong. It's your issue. It's your issue. I'm being annoyed. They're not doing anything wrong. Okay. Yeah. spirit thing. Don't fucking touch me. Without some kind of mission or some kind of clear sign, because Gucci up in the
You don't.
If millennial women do feel that way, I feel bad because, like, how do you communicate? Like,
Exactly.
because if you're attracted to the guy or girl or trans, then it's okay.
But see, here's the problem,
it's like,
though.
oh, I like your hair, I like your gauges.
If I'm attracted to them, how am I supposed to even let them know that I'm interested?
Yeah, or if I'm like, hey, like I've done that to women. I'm straight edge, okay?
Yeah.
I don't drink.
Yeah.
But I've done it to my homegirls. It's platonic. My homegirls, I'm like, oh, hey, it's your birthday, or oh, hey, what's up? Oh, you look nice tonight. Hey, I'll buy you a couple of shots.
Yeah.
Buy them shots. I don't hit on them. I don't look at them like that. I mean, they're attractive, but I'm not like, oh, I'm trying to get that. I'm just buying them a drink. So that would make me paranoid if they were in that mindset, like, oh my God, Lobo's buying me a drink. He wants to fuck. No. I was just being nice.
Which is
it's like I bought you fucking dinner and I don't want to fuck you. I ain't gay, but I'm just saying, like, hey man, buy you dinner.
Say I'm ugly?
Look, there's different
beautifuls
to different people.
Okay.
Your wife loves you.
Oh yeah.
And
thanks.
That's what counts. So moving on past that subject, avoiding that conversation.
Anyway.
Nah, I'm fucking with you.
No. He's
horrible looking.
Shut up. But the main thing was that he wouldn't let her move away from him.
Yeah, okay. She compared the path that cut across his apartment to a football play. It was 30 minutes of him getting up and moving and him following and sticking his fingers down my throat again. 30 minutes? Wait, so is she saying that she got fingered for 30 minutes? So I'm sorry for all the time, but I mean,
let me finish. It was really repetitive, and it felt like a fucking game. Throughout the course of her short time in the apartment, she says he used verbal and nonverbal cues to indicate how okay, hold up. Throughout the course of the short time in the apartment, she says she used verbal and nonverbal cues to indicate how uncomfortable and distressed she was. Most of my discomfort was expressed in me pulling away and mumbling. I know that my hands stopped moving at some point. She said I stopped moving my lips and turned cold. Now let me stop here because we're going to go back to the drinking thing.
I was just thinking that because maybe he's not picking up because they're both tipsy.
Exactly.
But at this time, it's like this though. At the same time, I like you, but I don't want to have sex. We'll make out a little bit, but I don't really know how to say no, back off. Because I feel shy. But then I let you stick your fucking finger in my throat for 30 fucking minutes. Get the fuck out of here.
But see,
at some point you bite his fucking finger, you go, okay, stop. 30 minutes?
This attributes to human conditioning. And what I mean by that is Aziz Ansari has done this before.
Yeah,
this is not.
He's a celebrity. He's not a celebrity. I like him. He's a celebrity, and I'm sure he gets. Oh, I'm sure he gets. I don't want to be vulgar, but I'm sure he gets poon all the time.
All the time.
You know what I'm saying?
So with that being said, he's used to having probably women who are more experienced.
Yeah,
and more.
Like a one-off, like a jump-off, like, we're going to hook up. Yeah. And it might be a relationship later. I like you because I know on one of his specials, he's talking about his girlfriend, how he's in love with him. Mm-hmm. He is. And I guess they broke up, so he's single and ready to mingle now. So he's got no commitment. So he's like,
let's knock these out of the ballpark.
Yeah, like we text for a week. We flirt.
For a week.
Yeah.
Worth a week. I mean, how many times have you talked
It's not, I bet you at a bar the same night we're going to hook up. There's some kind of chemistry there. Yeah. What's up?
Saw you at a party. I mean, how many times did our ex-friend Jeff meet some chick at a party? And in his case, he usually had them by the end of the night because they weren't on a date.
Yeah.
But then after that, he would still text them later after the fact. And it'd be like text on text on text. And he would be hooking up with these girls.
Yeah, and that's fine, but I'm saying... It's like this, man. I think before any of this went down, just hey, hold on, Aziz, I really like you, and let's just wait. Oh, okay. If he didn't say okay with that, then yeah,
you know where he stands.
Yeah, and he's a dick. I think he should have been like he was really faded and out of there. And then sometimes you see him, but you're like, nah, but she really wants it.
Here's the
other
thing too. Not only did you go to his house to meet him, he didn't come and pick you up.
Yeah, that could be a hookup red flag.
Also, and to me that sends off hookup red flags. I'm not a millennial in the sense of how millennials think, but I can see just hookup stuff.
Well, the girl in the YouTube video that I didn't agree with, but she made some good points. Like, well, first of all, the red flag is you had drinks, you went for oysters, and it's right close to his place.
Exactly. That was the other thing I was going to point out too.
Come on.
He ain't going far from his hole, so obviously he wants to do something, and we don't know how much he has been drinking because he could have been drinking before she got there.
Yeah.
He could have been inebriated, and that's why he was quiet at the dinner.
Maybe.
Because I know when I usually get to a certain point of drinking, if I know I'm almost too drunk, I'll stop drinking, and I'll be quiet, and I'll be listening to people throughout the night. Won't say much. I'll chit-chat and joke, but when you get to a certain point... When you get, like I was telling you earlier, there are levels to getting drunk.
Yeah.
And I think her level wasn't plastered, but it definitely wasn't sober. It was somewhere in between
lit, like tipsy, a little bit above tipsy.
Probably a little bit more above tipsy because she was still coherent on everything that was going on. One thing about drinking is that your short-term memory goes right out the window. Perfect example, Justin, my friend. He introduced me to himself 10 times in one night. He was that drunk, and he was by far past tipsy. So when you get so drunk that you can't make new memories, short-term memories, you just do things and you see things differently. So it does affect your mental state. So in this aspect, Ansari could have been pounding him back before, went out there. She doesn't say he was stumbling around, so obviously he can hold his liquor.
But they're both little people. But I mean, because he's what, 130 pounder, 140
I think so. In the picture, if you look closely,
you told me she looked really skinny.
Here's the picture.
Probably like 100.
There she is, right there. That's the picture of them together.
Okay.
She's not that big framed girl.
So she might be a 125 pounder.
Possibly
115 pounder. Okay. So maybe they were a little tipsy, but I don't know, man. Why would you let someone go down on you?
But you see what
you
I'm saying?
want it, I guess.
But do you see
but
why
you don't want sex, but you let him go.
Why I gave that spectrum scenario here?
That I don't like
because
that.
all of this is it's like you said, there were some cues that he should have paid attention to, I think. Well, see, that could have saved him.
See,
but at the same time, her reactions to some of his other cues.
Yeah, that's what they wrote with the Young Turks. It's like he was like, but then she was like, "What? Okay," and it was like, "Oh, so I can go? Like green light, no green, red light, no green." I had a scenario like that. Remember, what was her name? Danielle, tall Spanish girl.
I don't think I met her.
Yeah. Anyway, so she came over my place. She came over my place in her vehicle, came upstairs, got undressed to her panties and bra. I'm like, because you know me, I'm a Virgo, and I'm just like, all right.
Dude, it would have to slap you in the face.
Whatever.
Before you realize, oh, I can hit that?
Listen, I have my methods.
I swear.
I have my methods.
I swear, for a long time, I thought you were just...
Listen.
Just not that into girls for a long time.
Yeah, and everybody thought I was asexually gay. Yeah, I get it. Look. So, so she pops in my bed, and then I'm like, okay. And then she's like, I'm comfortable. Your bed's comfortable. I'm like, all right, cool. And then, so I'm taking that social cue. And she did the same thing to me a little bit. So I take my shirt off, my pants. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, in my head, like, what the fuck? So I just play it cool on the outside. I'm like, I'm just getting comfortable. She's like, okay. And I just get in bed beside her.
Yeah.
And, I'm like, all right. And it's like it was really awkward.
Awkward?
She sits there, and I sit there for like 30 minutes. Then she turns and she starts, doing stuff, and I'm like, okay. And then I tell you the other part where I was lame. She tried to get me to go down on her, and then she tried to get me to start having sex with her. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I can't. I have a cold. You have a dog. I'm so fucking lame. Yeah, I know. I had a cold though, and I don't want to get her sick. And my friend was like, "You're a fucking idiot.
You're an idiot."
Like she had fucking pink underwear that said, "love" or some shit on it. And
it doesn't matter what the underwear said. All that mattered was it should have been on your floor, and you should have been ramming the dog shit out of her.
So yeah. Anyway, let's not talk about my personal failures.
Anyway,
but I'm too nice. Whatever. But anyway,
maybe you should have went on a date with Grace.
Yeah. So, fuck you, man. Fuck you. So, anyway, but yeah, that happened, and we were still cool afterward, but she was kind of like, I guess you're not into me. But anyway, whatever.
Anyway, we're going to finish this up.
Yeah.
Whether Ansari didn't notice Grace's reluctance or knowingly ignored it is impossible for her to say. So, I know I was physically giving off cues that I wasn't interested. I don't think that was noticed at all. Or if it was ignored. Ansari wanted to have sex. She said she remembers him asking again and again, "Where do you want me to fuck you?" while she was still seated on the countertop. She says she found the question tough to answer because she says she didn't want to fuck him at all.
It's not a Pepsi fucking challenge. Oh my God. It's not a fucking survey. It's not the clock. There's 36 on the clock. Go. Do you A, not want to fuck him? B, there's no fucking B. It's a no or yes. Oh my God.
I wasn't really even thinking of that. I didn't want to be engaged in that with him. But he kept asking, so I said, next time. And he goes, "Oh, you mean second date?" And I go, "Oh, yeah, sure." He goes, "Well, if I poured you another glass of wine now, would it count as a second date?"
Now, to me, I take that as being playful. But
exactly.
Still, he's being playful like,
he's a comedian.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that comedians do.
No, I think that was totally appropriate. I think he was being playful.
Yeah.
But she should have been like, okay, yeah, all right, cowboy, but not tonight. I like you. So let's, yeah, and I think he was like, oh, let's do it. All right, I like you too. Yeah. I mean, you did let me go down and you hit your head. So, yeah, I think it was cool.
He then poured her a glass and handed it to her. She excused herself to the bathroom soon after. Now, I'm going to get a little bit personal here. Now, when my wife and I are in the thralls of romance, we'll just say that.
Thralls of romance?
Thralls of romance.
Oh, my God.
We'll just leave it at that, okay?
The fuck?
Because I don't want
a trashy romance novel?
Do you want me to get graphic? Because I have no problem.
It's an adult show. It's okay.
In the midst of my wife sucking me off, how about that? Is that better?
Yeah, I don't care.
Sometimes you'll take a breather, a break, refresh your drinks, have, a little witty banter maybe or something. But in that aspect, that's what adult sex is. And I really feel like this 22-year-old girl didn't really understand or comprehend what adult sex is, because sex at 20 is completely different. Sex at 30.
It's pretty much the same for me.
Well, that's because you're a special case. I mean, you had a practically naked woman in your bed.
Shut up.
And you didn't do anything.
I'm a good guy. Shut up.
I understand that.
I'm a douchebag.
With that being said,
guy.
At 30 years old, if a woman's going to have sex with you, and she's a 30-year-old woman, she's going to have sex with you.
Yeah, but it is different, though. I think it's age, but it's more experience.
Exactly.
You can get like a 19-year-old that knows her way around the bedroom, and you're like 24, you're like, how did she know that? Like, because she's a higher level sexually than you. That's how, buddy.
She went to the hyperbolic sex chamber.
Yeah, just sit back and just
enjoy
learn.
it. Just learn. Yeah. Get out pen and paper.
Right? This is a test.
But yeah, so at this point, that really set precedence in my mind that he's a freak, he's a super freak, and he likes his girls to be freaky too. I mean, and she just wasn't. And like you said earlier, it was a bad date for her.
Yeah.
And the fact that even at the beginning of it, it set the tone that he really didn't know. So that leads me to believe either he didn't know or he willingly just ignored all the fucking stops. But
because I heard it on the other shows that were trashing the Sorry's. Sorry's got no game. He don't know how to eat out of girls, so that's why she was, bad. And I don't know if that's true. I mean, but that's just embarrassing because your name's out there and people are talking shit on you, and you're saying your technique and your game and all that good stuff. But at the same time, excuse me, you are this woman, and you should speak up.
Yes.
You should say, yes, I want to do this. No, I don't. And it's kind of like one of the female hosts had said, I've been as a female where I hooked up with a guy and I thought it was going to be the end, it was nothing, and I regretted it. That's still not, yeah, and she said that that's still not right.
She did.
That's just a bad date. Now I'll tell him, hey, don't fuck that guy. He's got a small dick. He sucks. He don't know how to fuck. He's horrible. Whatever,
That's fair. Or give him a call and tell him he was a bad way.
Yeah, that's fair. But to go,
I was just going to talk to. That's bogus and bullshit to me. Like, come on, man.
Grace says now, this is the part where they've stopped at the counter. She's put the glasses of wine down and walked out and walked to the bathroom.
Are they naked still?
At this point, they're still naked.
What the
Grace says she spent around 5 minutes in the bathroom collecting herself in the mirror and splashing herself with water. Then she went back to Ansari. He asked her if she was okay. I said I didn't want to feel forced because then I'll hate you. I'd rather not hate you, she said.
I would have fucking put my clothes on and been like, you know what? Because that, to me, is paranoid. But Ansari was a fucking idiot.
At this point, you and me both said the same thing. Now, this is where I had the conversation with my wife, and we deviated this way and this way.
Oh,
I went left,
here we
I
go.
went right.
Here we go.
I said, at that point,
put your clothes on.
I'm putting my clothes on.
I will say good night to you, man.
Good night. It was I would have hoped
pleasant. I hope that I didn't offend you, and hope that just like don't call, don't text, because that is a ball of trouble.
No.
Her to feel uncomfortable, and I damn sure don't want to do it. I don't know at this point. I don't know what I'm doing that's offending her, so I don't want to take any chance. I'm gonna take out the equation.
Exactly.
It's not like, oh, okay, cool. Because anything I do, I could think it's cool, but she could not. And if she's not communicating, I'm not taking that chance. So, ladies, deuces.
Look. My 13-year-old son said the same thing.
Yeah, nah.
I'm sitting.
I like you, but you know what? Let's call it night. We might can hook up later. We might after we talk and get like, hey, so what happened last night? I guess, but in the night.
I guess in my wife's defense, the way I said it was like, you need to get your clothes on. This needs to stop.
Yeah.
Because obviously you don't.
Fast and hairy. Like your pants are still on the floor. You need to get them on, girl. I need to get. I'm already dressed.
We can talk later when we're sober.
I will drive you home. I will call you a cab if you don't feel comfortable with me. I apologize.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna need you to sign a waiver if you could do that before you. I mean, because I'm paranoid, bro. Like, fuck that.
Now here we go. Here's the rest of the article. She told Babe that at first she was happy with how he reacted. He said, "Oh, of course. It's only fun if we're both having fun." The response was technically very sweet in acknowledging the fact that I was very uncomfortable.
Okay.
Verbally, in that moment, he acknowledged that I needed to take it slow. Then he said, let's just chill over here on the sofa.
All right, he's still in the game. He's trying. He's like, she's not. And I think from his perspective, he's probably like, not so far gone where she's like, I'm out of here. I might can still do something with her tonight or maybe later on, but let's just take it slow, which is a dangerous game. He played that game. I would have just cut the whole thing off, but he's like, you know what, I'm this far.
Now,
I'm going to complete the mission.
Notice, no mention of putting on clothes at this point.
Yeah.
Let's go to the sofa and sit down. Now,
that's a guy move. That's a girl move. That's a player move.
Now,
baby girl, why don't you just...
When me and my wife are doing our thing and we're taking a break, we may go lay on the sofa. If we're at a hotel, for instance.
Did I sit on that sofa?
No.
You're lying to me, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Son of a bitch.
We usually do that kind of stuff at a hotel. We'll have a hotel night, and we'll do that stuff at a hotel.
Dirty dog.
Hotel.
Hotel.
Trashing that hotel to the smithereens.
See,
All
you're
the
the reason.
filth and sin that goes on.
See, you're
there.
the reason why hotel employees hate people. You're like, these motherfuckers here. God damn it, the Thompsons.
When the liquor's loose, she gets loose.
Oh, Lord. Anyway.
But yeah, you go sit down on the sofa, watch some TV, and chill, which is what they're doing.
Yeah.
In my mind, my wife's mind, we're going to have sex later. If you are naked still, at this point, in the interaction of sexual things going on, you go back and sit down naked, you're assuming that you're going to be finishing off because y'all haven't finished yet.
But that's y'all's. That's your interpretation. I don't think that was his interpretation. I think he's just like,
let me finish reading. Let me finish reading.
Okay.
This moment is particularly significant for Grace because she thought that would end the sexual encounter. Her remark about
stop. Okay. You can't end a sexual encounter after you've had oral sex. Sex you. Yeah. Blowjobs, cunnilingus, eating out, eating yana. Yeah.
Still naked.
That's
sitting
not
on the sofa.
vaginal sex, but that's still sex.
Sitting on the sofa, naked.
That in the encounter.
No clothes on.
That's like me and you getting in a shoving match, and all of a sudden I slap you,
Slap me. But we sit on the couch, and I think that would
de-escalate the fighting. We just got through. What are you talking about?
Let me finish. Her remark about not wanting to feel forced had added a verbal component to the cues she was trying to give him about her discomfort. When she sat down on the floor next to Ansari, who sat on the couch, she thought he might rub her back or play with her hair.
Why is she
something
on the floor?
To calm
naked.
Her down.
Why would you be that level to his penis when just sit on the couch level to him? I'm about to pull up my hair.
You being such a conservative guy when it comes to approaching women.
Well, on the outside.
On the outside, but I'm just saying in your experiences.
I'm paranoid, bro.
No, I understand that. But all of these nonverbal cues are pointing towards sex. He's sitting on the sofa naked. She's sitting on the floor naked. She's sitting in front of him. He's sitting on the sofa. I mean, what am I supposed to think was going to happen next?
And then she's like, he didn't try to play with my hair or give him a massage. Why the fuck am I going to massage you?
After you just said.
Because I'm paranoid. Even if I want to give you a massage and make you feel good or whatever.
I don't want you to feel forced.
I'm still turned on. And, but I can hold that. I can hold off on sex. That's fine. But I don't want you to freak out because I'm like, hey, fuck off. What the fuck? If she had said, hey, can you give me a back massage? Then yes. Then yes. Green light all day long.
Yes.
You said, give me back. Okay, cool. I got you. But what the fuck?
I don't even know, man. I don't even know. So, Ansari instructed her to turn around. He sat back and pointed to his penis and motioned for me to go down on him. And I did. I think I just felt really pressured.
Over.
You want me to stop?
No, just keep going. Jesus Christ.
And I did. I think I just felt really pressured. It was literally the most unexpected thing I thought would happen at that moment because I told him I was uncomfortable. Soon he pulled her back up onto the couch. She would tell her friend via text later that night he made out with me again and says, doesn't look like you hate me. Halfway into the encounter, he led her from the couch to a different part of his apartment. He said he had to show her something. Then he brought her to a large mirror. Hold on. Bent her over and asked her again, where do you want me to fuck you? Do you want me to fuck you right here? He rammed his penis against her ass while he said it. Pandemonium intercourse.
Pantomime, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like it's kind of like a
pantomime. Sorry.
Yeah, acting it out.
I just remember looking in the mirror and seeing him behind me. He was very much caught up in the moment, and I obviously very much wasn't, Grace said. After he bent me over After he bent me over is when I stood up and said, no, I don't think I'm ready to do this. I really don't think I'm going to do this.
Pause. Right there. That now I agree with your assessment with the levels. You know why? Because she didn't say, I don't want to do this. I'm not ready to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So I'm not ready to do this as opposed to I don't want to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Aziz, I think, should have picked up on some of the cues.
Yeah.
When she took her hand away, I think she liked him, but she was like, he was like too much, and she wasn't ready for that yet. Too much too fast. But at the same time, I think he was tipsy.
Mm-hmm.
And she should have, her being tipsy too, she said, no, I like you, but no.
See, here's the thing about being tipsy too, is another thing, is she doesn't even account for him possibly grabbing a drink, taking another swig.
Yeah, when she went to the bathroom, wash her face or with hands or whatever.
He could have sat there and be like, man, I'm going to get some. Because I know some guys say it, some guys don't, but sometimes when you drink, it actually gives you longevity in in situations like that.
Maybe.
And
but his business is still out there, and this is very, very detailed. It's gotta be very horrible.
Yeah.
Now people are like, Aziz, you ain't got no game, and it's horrible, man.
So anyway.
So is that the end of the article?
No, there's still more. It's a long article.
Let me see.
So then he replies with, Grace stood up and says, I really don't think I'm going to do this. And he said, how about we just chill, but this time with our clothes on? Now, see, when I read that the first time, I was like, hold up, wait a minute. I had to go back to the beginning of that. Because I'm sitting there thinking, a little upset about that. So,
oh my God.
Yes. So, as a married man, it's even harder to know when your wife is raring to go from time to time. That takes time to learn those nonverbal
What you do,
cues.
because I'm a Virgo, what you do is you print out you some sheets. It says, do you want sex? Check yes or no. And just keep it in the bedroom and just like this. She gets a sheet and checks yes and just give it to you like this. Okay. I mean, I don't know.
Because it takes the spontaneity out.
Well,
it's kind of like when you were saying when you were with that one lady and you said, can I kiss you now? And she was like, oh, no. It takes the spontaneity out of it. And this is one of those times where I think he was trying to be spontaneous, trying to whimsical her up. I'm a big star to her. I'm going to show her a good time. Da-da-da-da-da. I've been drinking. She's been drinking. Let's have some fun. You know?
Yeah.
And I mean, as you can see, the rest of it is what it is. I mean, she gets dressed, and he ends up calling her an Uber. Like, he really legitimately stopped when she said that at that point.
Oh, well, that's nice of him to do
and
that.
They watched.
That is like an a-hole too much. Like, sounds like you just didn't get the signs. And
after they did that, he sent her home and everything, and that's why he was broadsided when he It's just, I didn't finish the rest of it. That's where I stopped at. Because I really couldn't go any further with this. Because this article is long as fuck.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, you know, at some point, you have to stop and think to yourself as a man, how was I supposed to know? And even just reading this, it's like, how am I supposed to know that she wasn't into it? Because there seemed like there were so many times where she could have just gotten up and left. And she didn't. And that's where I go with, I'm not victim blaming, because I really don't feel like she's a victim. I think she just had a bad date. And the person she was with, she didn't expect that from him. And that's the problem with expectations.
Of celebrity, probably.
Yeah, it's kind of like you meet like, if I were to meet The Rock and find out he's just a super dick.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, who the fuck are you? What do you want? Get away from me. Like, that would tarnish my image of who he is on screen for the rest of my life, and I would probably never watch any of his movies.
That's a good point.
And so, in this aspect...
So maybe she didn't get what she bargained for.
No, exactly. I think this girl legitimately was looking to have a relationship with him. Because if you notice that she showed up at his place, she expected him, for whatever reason, to know that she liked red wine versus white without telling him. Those are immature notions of a young adult.
Yeah, but I'm just going to say adult in general, because you can got 30 or 40-year-olds.
True.
It's like, really?
So, in this situation, it made me want to go and talk to my daughters about it, and my son, specifically my son, because as much as women want to come out and say that they're empowered and they feel empowered, this is a sign, this is to show you that some women just don't feel empowered, and I don't know why. In this day and age, in this climate, women almost hold all the cards.
I don't believe that, but I believe
I said almost, not that they do.
No, I don't even believe that. I believe they have a long way to go, and they're way better than they were.
Okay.
You know, they can be taken more seriously. There's a lot of things to fix with female, especially female leads. That they don't have to be like, you know, in a damn bikini just to be you know, sell movie. They can be fully clad, be respected for their heroism and intellect instead of just the sex symbol.
Yeah.
Let's not even talk about the gaming industry. You know, the
How's
arts.
that card game Hex going?
I like it. So I just hate that this kind of thing happens because it takes away from a really good movement. You know,
it does.
It's kind of like the NAACP. The good, it's kind of like Black Lives Matter or the NAACP.
Yeah,
it started out as good. I think it's still
really
good,
did.
But some people within the organization
just
shit on it. Yeah. You know, do stupid stuff. So if they let people like that inside the Me Too movement, it's gonna really derail it. And the detractors love this. It's like, see, you know, even Fox News, they're like, he's a liberal, but this is bullshit. I mean, people are seeing this across the board. They're like, this is bullshit. But a lot of people are saying, oh, well, because he's Muslim. He's not Muslim.
No,
he's atheist. But I don't think his religion has anything to do with it.
No,
it's just,
it doesn't.
I think it's a bad date, and I really hate that people really found out a peek inside of his dating life because everybody's human, you know.
Everybody's a freak in some way or another, and I mean, I'll be honest. I was kind of shocked. I was shocked to see how.
Why?
Experienced.
Have you not seen his? Have you not seen his Netflix show?
No, I haven't.
Master of
I
None?
I watched a little bit of it, but not a lot of it.
It's pretty. That's pretty good. I love that show.
But I mean, it's like, you know, I sat there and I watched it, read that, and it just got me thinking. You know, my son's about to be a teenager. He's about to go to high school, and in high school, in Mesquite specifically, my oldest, first week
Mesquite,
there,
Texas.
Yeah, the first week there, she was like, "Oh yeah, there's like 3 kids already pregnant," and I'm like,
it happens.
Oh, okay. So definitely need to prepare.
And like what happened to one of your daughters with the whole, remember the internet incident?
Yeah.
It's scary, man, because you know,
and
you want a woman to be you want a young lady to be confident enough in herself to say no.
Exactly.
Especially if she's uncomfortable. At least to say, okay, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go. I don't want this.
Yeah,
I'm call for help.
Have a backup plan to leave.
But the same thing gonna happen to her. Like, she felt pressured and she did something she didn't want to do, but she did it anyway. You know what I'm saying? And she's a child. This person's an adult. And I can say they can have the same concept and attributes, but as an adult, you should have at least the gumption to say no. You should have that power.
I will say
when that happened to her, she was like 13.
That mentality,
13 or 14, right?
Yeah. I will say this to that mentality of knowing when you're an adult. When you become an adult, you really don't realize you're an adult. Like, you know you're an adult.
Yeah, pay bills and stuff, but the
you
consequences
don't
and the
know
responsibility.
until you sit back one day and take a reflection in yourself and say, wait a minute. Why am I sitting in my own house? I can leave whenever I want to.
Well, I don't know about that. I think when something happens to you, conditioning
as a child, you grow up, your parents never condition you to be prepared for.
Well, it's as I say, case by case.
No, and that's what I'm saying.
And I think that when you are more self-aware of your adulthood is when things happen to you. Like, I got in a car wreck, I have to pay for my own vehicle. I don't have my parents. Yeah. Or, man, I got fired. I got to look for a job. Like, I can't get money. Like, yeah, you're an adult. You're out there.
And see, she's 22. That's 4 years older than my own daughter, my oldest daughter. Yeah. And it's like, this could have been her. And I have to play this very carefully if something like that came up, because then I've got to sit there and go, look, I just want to ask you a few questions. I just want you to answer honestly, no judgment. Yeah. So I can say, okay,
it's delicate.
Here are the things that did go wrong. Here are the things that you need to watch out for in the future. Yeah. But I would rather do that now than later, so that way I can tell her, if a guy tells you to come over his house before y'all go on a date, don't do it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, 90% he's thinking about sex. I'm just going to put that out there. Yeah. It's not saying he's guaranteed to want to have sex with you. He could be like you. But just, hey, just meet me at my house. I got to get
I do things very low-key because I'm very private. But I'm saying in that instance, it's because I like the girl and I was trying to be super respectful. And, it's like sometimes I have trouble pulling the trigger, and sometimes girls have to hit me over the damn head with a mallet like, hey, I want to have this. Like, oh, okay, green light? Yeah, good. Like, this.
I'm just saying, though, I mean, it's about knowing the pitfalls. Yeah. Both sides, male and female. Yeah. And that's my take on it. Now, the argument my wife and I had was that she felt closer to what this woman felt. She felt like, and not to go into too many details about her past, but she's had situations that...
Well, she's anonymous, so you can.
She's had a stepfather that took advantage of her. Mm-hmm. She's had a friend of the family take advantage of her. Mm-hmm. So her views on being a victim are going to lean more towards...
But that's actual victim stuff. I mean, she was underage, correct?
Yes.
Okay. That was the other person of power. And this wasn't a power thing. He Sorry doesn't own her. She doesn't work for him. No, she's a photographer. So there's no backlash on her, really. It's all on him.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's what really kind of pisses me off.
That's when people were like complaining him to Russell Simmons or Harvey Weinstein. Like, that's crazy.
No, he's nowhere near those guys. And what really kills me the most is, like I said when we were looking for the article a few minutes ago, at the SAG Awards, apparently he won an award and nobody clapped for him.
It's already started.
And it's like, it goes back to I would rather be called a dick, an asshole, or just a son of a bitch than to be called a sexual deviant, a sexual predator, or whatever, because those come with negative connotations.
Well, in Hollywood, it's a death because people won't hire you. You're done. They blackball you.
I mean, hell, from the sounds of things, it sounded like Ben Affleck was trying to support the Me Too movement, and somebody called him out on something that happened to him in the past, and he freaking closed his mouth up real quick. In all of this, it made me start looking into other actors.
I remember
Danny Masterson. You know him?
I don't know what that is.
He's the bearded guy from that 70s show. He's the one that plays,
okay.
that has the glasses.
Yeah.
Apparently, he has like 5 rape charges on him right now. From back in the day. From way back in the day. Back when he was working at that 70s show.
Yeah.
And he's already been exonerated. But apparently, in an article I was reading, he's also associated with the Scientology group.
Okay.
And there's a show on A&E with the chick from the King of Queens.
Yeah, Leah.
Yeah, apparently they've been known to push stuff under the rug. And it's like, as a guy growing, as a man, it feels like the world is just turning on us. Because if, for instance, if I were to go into a corporate America, because I remember an article that you posted about, what was it, sexual harassment, I think it was, or something like that. Or
It might have been.
But I commented on it because it sparked something in me, because it's like, you know, it's funny that in corporate America, women can talk about sex amongst themselves and with themselves, but if guys do it and a woman's nearby and hears it and doesn't like it, she blows the whistle, everybody gets in trouble. Or if...
See, I don't work in corporate America, so I don't know.
So
that sounds really
or if...
But maybe you should be talking about that stuff at work, though. You know what I'm saying?
On both sides, though, but it gets talked about in work.
Yeah, I mean, that's not realistic. Because, I mean, you're adults, so you talk about your boss like, oh, that guy's such a dick. Oh, hi, Mr. Peterson. Yeah, okay, yeah, I get it.
And so it really is messed up, you know? And in this case, this wasn't an office setting. This was a date.
Yeah.
And it was a bad date. It wasn't full-on rape, and it was semi-quasi-consensual sexual activity.
Well, if she got oral from him and he got oral from her, that's pretty consensual. He wasn't, as far as I read, it wasn't forcing her head down. She said, I did it.
And and that's the thing that kills me.
And she was pushing his head away like, no, don't eat me out. Like, she was like, okay.
Exactly, and that's what kills me. It's like, you know, I want to see the other side, but it's hard to see the other side when the other side is saying, oh yeah, you can do this to me. Oh yeah, that's not, no, I don't want to do it. Because I just feel like this really was, like I said, and I stand by it from Jump Street.
Even if you let a guy eat you out, even if you let a girl suck your dick, you can at some point say no. When you say no, it's over. You can be in the middle of fucking, like I was with the young lady, right? What?
I didn't hear about this one.
Yeah, remember we were in the middle of fucking. She's like, no, and I got up and I stopped. So I mean, when it's no, it's no, and after that, it's no. You know, no. You already said no.
You don't close the door on
I'm
that.
gonna go ahead and put my pants on. I will see you, maybe. And, I bid you good night.
Yeah.
Good day. You know.
But I'm considered an asshole. No, I'm not. I'm considered.
I don't care about what I'm considered. I'm worried about me getting convicted of some bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
My aunt just did that to a guy. It was really fucking horrible. She was dating a guy, and he was younger than her. She was like 40 something, and he was like 20 something, right? He was like a young stud, and I was like, "That's and he rocks it, whatever." She's not a young guy, but she got pissed off at him, so she told my nephews. Not my nephews, my cousins, sorry. My cousins to say that he touched them. And they didn't want to, but she's like, you're going to do it. And they were like, all right. And that dude's in prison still. Because, I mean, when you're freaking 4 or 5 and you're a girl or a boy, they're not thinking...
Mom
they're not thinking you're not lying. You're you know. And the guy was already like a felony, had a felony on his record, so it wasn't that hard.
No,
you know.
Oh, you like touching little boys and girls, huh?
Yeah, it was fucked up. I'm like, why'd you? Fuck him. I'm like, dude, that's not cool. That's somebody's life. You just lied because you were mad. And then she was like, later, I kind of miss him. Oh well, at least I got. She said something like, at least I got the lights. In his name, because the lights were in his name, and from prison he got him shut off or whatever, or when he was not, it was in his name, and she got pissed off about that. I remember that shit, and I was like, that's ridiculous. And like, that's that guy's life.
Yeah,
He was young, like 23, 24.
And that's all the more reason why I talked to my son about this article, because I told him, I was like, look, you may get, like you said, you may get in a situation where a chick's like full on going, and if she says no, you stop and you put your clothes on, you tell her to put her clothes on, you get the fuck out of there. Because I don't want you to have to deal with
when he gets older, he's
like
going to have to learn about the complexities of, like, you know, different sexual appetites and different stuff, because sometimes it's like play. Like, it's not that. It's play like, no, don't. No, stop. Okay. Like that.
Yeah.
And if that's established, it's very murky. But if it's established, that's what you both of you are into.
Like right now.
Do that. But if you don't know the chick and you don't know she's into that, do not take that chance.
Exactly.
No. Well, maybe. You know what? I'm gonna.
And I think that's the problem with the quote unquote hookup culture that we have.
Well, that's what the girl was saying. I agree with her on that part.
That it allows too many miscommunications to happen.
But if it's a hookup culture, you already know. Some girls are into the alpha
you would
male.
Think that.
Some girls are into the submissive guy. Some guys are into the alpha female. Some guys are into the submissive.
You would think that, but you can't make the assumption, though.
No. When you know that that's what you're looking for, both parties know, then you know. So that's why there's only hurt feelings when you catch feelings in the hookup culture. So if you're a female and you want some strange, and I'm looking for some strange, right? And we like each other. It's already established that we're hooking up. It's no strings attached. We don't want to know each other. I don't want to know your name. I just want to get my rocks off. You want to get your rocks off, and that's it. We hook up. All right, later. I might put your number in my phone because you're good lay or whatever, and that's it. You know, I might be a good fuck, and she keeps my number and hits me up whenever she needs a little, you know, vitamin D. You know, that's it. But the only time people get hurt is when there's like, I really like this person. Whoa, you already know from the get-go that it's just a hookup thing.
And like I said,
so
I think that's what this situation was. She really did like him,
you know.
But
I get the impression I think he liked her, but he just was like, maybe I can get some. I mean, it takes for a week. Usually, people who are trying to hook up, well, I'm not gonna say that because sometimes some people talk for a week.
Yeah.
To kind of get the filters, like, okay, where do you live? Where do I live? What do you do for a living? Okay, you are you clean? You got papers? I'm clean. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's set it up. Time up. We'll do this.
Yeah,
thing.
I can see that.
So yeah, I guess the same kind of parameters. Maybe I could make a better argument for that if they were talking for like a month.
Yeah.
You know? Then I'm like, okay, I think he likes her, but maybe that was, maybe he liked her, but he was like, but she's hot, she's young, I want to hit that. Because
he's 34 and she was 22 when this happened.
Yeah, I think that's what that was.
And it's like, you know, being an older man with a younger woman, that's hot and shit, but you better make sure that younger woman knows what she's in for.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where some girls can handle a strong dick and some can't. And if they don't know what they're in for and they end up getting caught with that, then it's like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, the damage has been done. Time will tell how long it's going to affect this guy.
Well,
I feel bad for him, but you kind of put yourself in this position at the same time a little bit because she pulled her hand away. You know, as soon as she said stop, I don't know, man. I wouldn't have been like, come on. But then she sucked his dick, and I'm like, what the? So I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's a tough call.
Yeah,
because it's like I said, it's on that spectrum.
I'm not gonna say
I don't know where to put it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say you put yourself in this position. I'm saying you should have ended things like when you had the chance. Like, all right, when she says, "I don't want to hate you," whoa, all right, not. You know what? All right, that's cool. Let's just sit on the couch. Like, bro, stop trying. That's a big signal. Like, you know, I'm not gonna be racist or anything and be like, oh, white girl, crazy white girl. But I'm like, bro, you're a brown man.
Yeah, that was another thing that
put your clothes on, son. Try another day. Okay, let this one go. It's okay.
It's okay to let
Pornhub
it go.
that shit and chill.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
And let that shit go.
Look, you're a man of means. I think you could have.
Yes.
You could have.
I don't think he's into escorts or prostitutes, but I'm saying, you know.
But I'm just saying that's an option.
Yeah. But anyway, all right, man. Well, I think that's we covered the subject on Aziz Ansari's sexual assault allegation.
I wouldn't even call it that personally, but that's just me.
That's what it's been reported as, so. All right, as always. Okay, so first-hand experience, what it's like having a Scorpio moon. I'm going to do the long version, but the short clip note version in this phrase is basically like having emotional constipation. Yeah, it's like being emotionally constipated. So, yeah, that really, it's not good. So, basically, it's a deep, deep, deep well of emotions. It could be mistaken for being bipolar, but it's not. It's really like on the turn of a dime. 1 minute, I could like love you and want to do anything for you, want to be around you, and you do something to make me mad, and that crosses my line or something, and I legitimately, with full-on emotions, hate you. I want you to die. I want your kids to die. You're my enemy. It's really all encompassing. That emotion just takes you over. Like you can be pie in the sky, happy and good vibe, and everybody's good, and then all of a sudden that one person or that one thing makes you angry, and it's like a dark cloud that changes you, and it's very difficult to mask your emotions. Believe me, I've been trying to do it for years, and people always tell me what's wrong, and I'm like, damn it, I thought I was hiding it. Like I guess I have the male version of resting bitch face. Yeah. They said people tell me it's all over my body language, it's all over my face. When I don't even know what is happening, I'm thinking I'm just like normal, looking normal, and they say I have a fuck off or fuck you look on my face. Like holy shit, like let's not mess with this guy. So it's hard to control sometimes your emotions. It's very intense, very intense. That's why I'm drawn to things that are dangerous, I guess, maybe get your adrenaline going. I mean, I don't like fighting, but I get in a cage and I like to scrap because it gets my heart going. It's a challenge yourself type of thing. It gets the emotions cranking going. I don't know. I like it. I like intense things. I guess I'm drawn to it. I guess I'm drawn to chaos and self-destruction. So that would explain a lot. Yeah, I don't think that I'm a very well-adjusted Scorpio moon because well-adjusted Scorpio moons aren't vengeful. I'm regrettably a vengeful person. I don't ever fucking forget if you wrong me. I never fucking forget that shit ever. But I'm working on that. So the more adjusted ones they don't forget, but they let it go. Me, I'm like, okay, and I'm like plotting for years. And I'm not just like lip service. I'm like actually spending money on shit and plotting and planning, and it's not good. It's not good. I'm working on it. But I don't know. It's very hard emotionally because it makes me like I have these what do I call them, seasons or storms. When I'm storming, as I call it, I'm not pleasant to be around. I can be an asshole. Very, very, I would say, ferocious temper. Like, it's pretty bad. You know. So, because of that, I will often isolate myself from people. I'll go for a walk, or I'll go to my room, or I'll get in a vehicle and just chill out for a couple of hours or whatever, and get away from the people, because it's not their fault. That particular person didn't do whatever it is that set me off. So I don't want to take it out on them, because that's immature and jerky, but I know me, so I isolate myself. And until I cool down. When I'm storming, though, it's not a good thing. So it's a weird economy, because literally I can be inside the house. I just go to work, go home, stay inside all day, never go out unless I need to get something for like 8 months. And then after that, the switch flips, and boom, I feel like being social. I'm texting people, I'm calling people, I'm DMing people, I'm actually going to people's houses, apartments, parties, partying, 4 or 5 days a week, continuously. I just get in this social mode. So it's very weird. The best way to explain it is, there's a lot of stuff going on inside, but on the outside it seems like there's not much going on. Very closed off. Scorpio moons we're very paranoid type people, because our greatest fear is betrayal. Betrayal. Like, are you my friend? Are you really my friend? Do you love me? Do you really love me? You're being nice to me. Why are you being nice to me? What's going on? It's an issue. It's a problem. So the good part about that is, it's an innate ability to read people. That's the cool part. The shitty part is not be able to control your emotions that well. I'm not gonna say overreacting, but I don't know. Like, something that takes a reaction of a 4, we'll probably react as like a 9 or 10. So maybe overreaction, but it's ridiculous. Very closed off sometimes. We just hold stuff in, because it's very difficult, like I said before, to manage emotions, to like I said, it's very weird. At one point, it's hard to manage emotions, and at another point, it's like you're a serial killer. Like, you're very cold and you closed off. You don't react to anything, so that draws even more attention. And as a Scorpio moon, the one thing that's really annoying is when people ask you, "Are you okay?" And you tell them politely, "Yes, you're okay," and they keep asking, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" That's infuriating. That is infuriating, and that pisses us off even more. And then we are pissed off, because we are okay, but you kept asking us, "Are we okay?" But it's the aura, and it's the body language that we're giving off. Like, I've heard that from many friends and family members. I heard that from bosses at work, where they were like, the supervisor was just telling me, "I've been wanting to talk to you, but you seem very intense, and like, if I just said the wrong thing, you would go off." And I'm like, "Damn, did you think I was going to come in with a shotgun or something?" And she was kind of like, "Well," I'm like, "Damn, really? Come on, it's not that serious." But I guess I'd give off this kind of intensity. It's not an intimidation thing, not to me. Some people are intimidated, but some people aren't. It's just this, Scorpio moons are intense people. We just are. It's hard to manage emotions. We're closed off. We're not very trusting. But when we get to that point, we're loyal as hell, protective. We have a streak of possessiveness with significant others. I don't know, it's like a turn on to possess or be possessed. Like, if you're a Scorpio moon, your lover's like, hey, back off. He's mine. He's mine. That's a turn on because, like, yeah, they care enough because they want me. It's kind of sick, actually, thinking about it. But that's our wheelhouse. I don't know what to say. It is what it is. But yep, being a Scorpio moon is very intense. We're hard to get to know. Not very trusting. Very cold. Not very warm at first at all. I think I said the whole shift, my first day at work, maybe, and I'm not even exaggerating, maybe 7 or 8 words, the whole 8-hour shift. So I'm not going to say we're not friendly, but we're not talkative when we don't want to be. Like, we can shut it down. So, yeah. Scorpio moons. If you're curious, just internet search it and you'll be like, wow, you're really fucked up. Yes, thank you. I know that. The only cool part about Scorpio moon, though, is, like I said before, the ability to read people in situations and break things down very quickly. We have the ability to kind of see through bullshit and see through people, like their insecurities. Like, just put things together. And that can be very off-putting to people. They don't like that. A lot of people don't like being called out. A lot of people don't like people seeing what they're really about. They don't like that. Some people are very drawn to it. So it's a mixed bag. All right. Moving on. All right. Question 5. 3 things that define what class is to me. Class in, you mean like having class intact, or class in like social structure? I'm gonna go with the latter and say social structure. Okay. So, to me, the 3 elements that stand out that would make me categorize a person or of a certain class is, I would say, their morals, their mentality, and the third one, I'm coming up short. Mentality, their morals, and I don't know. I guess I'm just hanging out on that one. But I don't classify people as class, and that's in the social structure for the way you look. I mean, that's a factor, but that's just a guise, because you can look a certain way, but you could still be great as gold or just trash, I don't do it by education or environment, because you can rise above your environment or below it. And education is only good for, I think, financial advancement in this world, this modern world we live in. And perhaps bragging rights, and maybe just a self-worth, like accomplishment, like I accomplished that. That's good. But I don't define it class that way, because you can have a lot of education, you could be financially well off, and be a very trashy person. You could also be as poor as a church mouse. You could have basic education or below basic education and be some of the best parts of humanity. So that's how I view social class. But it's very difficult in this time because we live in a very image-based aesthetic world, you know? So I can't think of the third one, though. I'm a little disappointed in myself. I'm human. All right. Question 6. What's the worst injury you've ever had? Oh, well, that's easy. I don't care who you are, where you're from, what plane of existence, planet, age, ethnic group, whatever. If you pull your glute muscle, your life is going to fucking suck for, I don't know, what, a month, 2 months, maybe 3 months. That was the worst fucking injury I've ever had in my life. Like, man, I'd never realized how much, I'm just speaking of me personally, use my ass muscle. I couldn't sit. It would swell up. I couldn't run. I literally couldn't run. I was paranoid for like 3 months straight.
I'm like, what if I get
into
into
an
an
altercation
altercation
with
with
somebody?
somebody?
I'm gonna get my ass whooped because I can't fucking kick. I can't run. I can't shoot in for a takedown. I can't do shit. I'm a fucking gimp right now. So getting in the car was fucking horrible. Getting out of the car was worse. Sitting in the car driving, that shit was painful. It was hard to sleep. At that time, I had a job at a waste management, basically a trash truck. That was my job, to ride in the back of a trash truck, get in, get on and off the truck, which sucked because stepping on the ladder hurt my ass. Stepping off of it hurt my ass. Bending down to pick something up hurt my ass. I had to walk slowly. I couldn't run. I couldn't kick. Driving sucked. Even to put the pedal down hurt. So anyway, not to go on like a fucking man rant. But that was the worst fucking injury. The worst pain. No, that wasn't the worst pain, because the worst pain was like fucking wisdom tooth. That shit sucked. That shit. I tapped out on that shit. I didn't even take medicine. But I was like tempted. Like, I had the bottle in my hand with the pills. I was like, oh my God, I need to. No, fuck it. I'm not going to take anything. But that shit fucking hurt. Thank God that it subsided and the tooth like stopped growing or something or whatever. But my teeth are pretty straight, and it didn't fuck with me. It did it for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months straight, and that was fucking horrible. The whole side of my face swelled up. Fucking painful as shit. Nerve pain fucking sucks. So to all the women out there that give childbirth because they say it's like that, I got to give you guys props, because fuck that shit. Fuck that noise. But getting back to my ass injury, I don't know what the fuck I did, but that was horrible. I couldn't lift anything. So I was doing my best to keep my job so I wouldn't get fired, and I was like pushing myself and gimping around, and it's fucking horrible. Everybody thought I was like a war vet or something, because I was like walking with a limp and shit. It's like, God damn it. Yeah, it was only supposed to take a month to heal, but me being me, because I'm a dumbass sometimes, it took 3 fucking months to heal. Oh, that shit sucked. Man, like it was nights I couldn't even sleep because my ass was hurting so bad. It was just throbbing. It would shoot up down my leg. One time I was at the Dollar Theater and it just hit me. I fell down on my knees and I was like literally in the parking lot. People look at me like, what the fuck's wrong with that guy? Was he a fucking crackhead? I had to crawl to my fucking car, and then I put myself inside and I stayed there, cranked the seat back, and just stayed there for like 2 hours because my ass was hurting because I couldn't do shit. That shit sucked. So yeah, that was the worst injury I've ever fucking had. Worse than my arm, worse than my thumb after my fight. When I broke my thumb, my fucking hand swelled up. That shit, yeah, that shit sucked. All right, and I will do the next question. Let me see. How many of your female friends do you secretly want to fuck? Wow. Wow, really? Okay. Full disclosure, nope, gonna censor that shit. Redacted. So I'm just gonna say 2. No, I think it's 3. 2 or 3. 2 or 3. But I'm not gonna use any names. But yeah, 2 or 3. Yep. All right. That's awkward. So moving along. Have I earned everything I have? Wow. Well, that's an easy question. No. I don't think so. I know. I think I'm a nice guy. I think I'm a good guy, but I know I can be a fucking prick, or I have been a prick in the past. So I know my looks have gotten me doors open that should not have been open because I was an ass, and I was fortunate to have really cool people in my life to help me out. So a lot of things that I do have and have had are from people that have been in my life, that's been in my corners, that's helped me. So I would say 75 to 80% of the stuff I have, I did myself. But the other 20% had a little bit of help there. So yeah. All right. Am I a womanizer? What the fuck? Am I a womanizer? No. No, I'm not. When I was younger, I wasn't a womanizer. I was more of a prankster, maybe. Maybe a tease. There we go. When I was younger, I was a bit of a tease. I mean, for God's sakes, I didn't lose my virginity until I was 24.
Not that I couldn't get laid, because
as my friend said, shit,
you need like a fucking pussy umbrella, right? But
I'm just fucking weird, and I guess I was in my non-conformist stage and I was younger, so I'm like, everybody's having sex, so that means, fuck it, I'm not gonna have sex, because I'm gonna be different. I don't know, I'm fucking retarded, whatever. So yeah, I lost my virginity at 24, but I was a tease. I had a lot of women and guys. What the fuck? But I had a lot of women hit on me, and I would just be like, yep, that's great, thank you, and kind of scamper away. So, have I ever been a womanizer? No. I have manipulated, but not like, well, shit. Is that a womanizer? I'm going to have to look that up. Because I think a womanizer is someone who lies and manipulates to women to get things. And I have embellished and lightly manipulated a few women to gain favor. So I'm just going to say no, I'm not a womanizer. Moving on. Plans for New Year's Eve or New Year's? Well, not really. I haven't really I don't really celebrate shit, so I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. That's another conversation. I don't really, per se, celebrate Christmas.
Um,
So I
I
don't
don't
really
really
have
have
anything
anything.
planned for New Year's. Just the standard, just like for my birthday, sleep.
Sleep.
Maybe
Maybe
get
get
laid for
laid.
New Year's. I guess it's a tradition. I don't know, but not no kind of party or anything. Nothing extravagant planned. So yeah, I'm boring. Fuck it. All right. Well, that has been 10 questions. As always, I'm Lobo. This is Beyond the Pale. Remember, wrap it up, kids. Till next time. Bye. All right.
Ooh.
Question 2. What are your thoughts on being a minority in a goth scene? All right. I have many, many, many thoughts on this one. Good. Well, I seem to notice things that many do not in a scene like that. I can remember a long time ago that I could do like a internet search for Black Goth, and the only thing that popped up about 10 plus years ago was a black woman that was an author of a book, some gothic literature or something like that. That was back when Suicide Girl was still the shit and people were like all into that. They actually were slightly diverse. And I remember these forums I would find on the internet, and people would ask these. To me, I think they were ignorant questions, but I'm assuming that they were really heartfelt and they really didn't know. They were like, I didn't know that people of color could be goth. How does that happen? I've never seen one before. I don't know, it's gotten better today, but it's still got a long way to go for diversity and tolerance. I can think of so many instances in the scene where there's blatant intolerance and racism under the guise of a joke, or just people, it's flying over people's heads. They just don't get it. Wearing Nazi memorabilia and no one says a word. Someone saying something, a race joke. You look at 95% of the models and they're all white. So there's not a lot of representation of women, especially men, but at least it's a little bit better for women, of gothic fashion or representation. But it's like that, I think, in sci-fi and video games and anime, especially. Anime, that's a whole nother subject. My goodness. It's, the goth scene is an outsider scene. It draws in people that were usually outcast in high school or college or in their family, black sheep. They're rejected by society. So in that bubble, in that sphere, it's like a family of rejects that find comfort amongst each other. There's still the drama that with any scene. But speaking for myself as a minority within that scene, I view myself as an outsider amongst outsiders. So even though there are a bunch of oddballs and misfits and outsiders within the scene, I find myself as an outsider even amongst them. I don't look like them, I don't sound like them, I don't think like them. Some are inviting, some are tolerant, some are not. It's not as diverse as I'd like it to be, but it's getting better. So that's what it's like for me, the short answer, being a minority in a gothic scene. It can be very draining, I could say, where you just want to have a good time, but 90% of the time, someone always says something ignorant or stupid or racist. It really picks away at you, I think, when you just want to have a good time like everybody else. It's very awkward sometimes. The music I like, the look I like, the people, 50-50. But it's got a long way to go. Let me see. All right. Question 3. What do you think constitutes rape or sexual assault? Oh, okay. We're getting serious now. It's turning a little dark, a little political. All right. Well, to me, I think it all boils down to consent. Consent, consent, consent. But even in today's time, it sounds like a simple concept, but it is, but it isn't. It's complex, I think. Scenario. You can be with a young lady, have a few drinks with her, take her back to your place or her place, start to have sex. Now, if she wakes up and regrets it, is that rape? Is it your fault for sleeping with her because she was tipsy or drunk? But what if you were sober? Is it your fault? But is it still your fault if you were drunk too? So I think it becomes a slippery slope. I mean, I guess a good rule of thumb is that's not really realistic in modern times and the club scene and just the dating scene in general. Taking someone home or trying to hook up with someone that's had 2 or 3 drinks because they still have alcohol in their system. So if things go that way, are you taking advantage? Should they be absolutely sober? So if that means if I take someone out and they have a sip of beer or 1 shot of alcohol, that means there's no sex. I think it's person to person, but from my perspective, it's about consent, and you have to be very careful, even then, very careful. If a girl is very drunk, I always decline. Even a little tipsy, it's like iffy, I don't know. I actually, there was a girl that was very drunk. She wanted to have sex. I was trying to politely decline, so I'm in my underwear, and she's trying to push my head for me to go down on her, and she like passes out and then throws up. like later, and I like have to clean that shit up. It's all over the bed. But that was just one instance. Like, she was really out of there. She was awake, but she was done. So I just try to, you have to watch yourself and be careful. I think we all know what rape is. Sexual assault, to me, I don't know. I was telling a friend about two instances that happened to me, and they said it was sexual assault. I don't know if it's sexual assault, but I mean, I just have sexual assault in my mind as something completely different. Like, you rip someone's clothes off, you beat them up, and you try to have sex with them forcefully, but you don't. Rape is when you actually have sex with them against their will, and not just for like some sort of fetish thing. It was like actually like, no. There was an instance when I was a prison guard. I had this female sergeant, and she had a crush on me or whatever. And at first it was kind of like, all right, you have a crush on me. I'm not interested. It's cool. And then it got really uncomfortable. Like, she would corner me at work, and, she's my supervisor, so what am I going to do, right? And I'd get assigned with her, and I'd try to play it off, and she'd, like, get really close to me and, like, corner me in a wall, and I'm like, I don't want to touch her, I don't want to move, and she was like, you're going to be with me. It was really, really uncomfortable. It actually came to a head. I mean, there was one instance where we're in a pod together, and she tried to take off my pants, and she actually ripped the belt loop off of my pants, and I'm like, what the fuck? After that, it was really embarrassing, but I had to, like, go to my supervisors and say something, and we had to go to arbitration and, like, sit down and everything, and she didn't lose her job or anything, but it was better. She stopped talking to me, she stopped dealing with me, so I felt kind of bad, but it was embarrassed, like, what the fuck what am I going to say? Like, hey, this girl is trying to hit on me, and I keep spurring her advance, and she keeps doing something. I don't know, it felt weird. It was embarrassing. I don't know how to explain it, but anyway, it was very tense before that, but after we had a sit down, she was pissed off at me, but she left me alone, and I was more comfortable at work, because it was pretty bad. I mean, she used to wait by my car after work, and I'm like, oh my God. There was another instance where I was in a hospital, and me and a coworker were passing trays. We're both CNAs. We're passing trays to the patients, and the guy was gay, and he kept asking me about, was I gay? I told him I'm not into guys, and he was asking, how do you know you're not into guys, and all this other shit. I'm like, listen, bro, like, I don't like dudes. Back up. And then he asked me something like, have you ever had your dick sucked by a guy, and how could you tell if it was a woman or a guy? And I told him, because he said, if you were blindfolded, how could you tell? And I told him, I'm pretty sure I could tell the difference between a guy or a girl, but if I couldn't, the minute the blindfold came off and I found out it was a guy, I would first throw up, I'd be physically ill, then I'd beat the fuck out of the dude. So I guess he got a little miffed, a little mad about that or whatever, and we proceed to pass in trays like I said before, and he lifted up my shirt when I had a tray in my hand. Both my hands were on the tray holding it, and I'm walking, and he gets in front of me, and I stop, and he bends down. I'm like, what's he doing? Like, did I drop something? He lifts up my shirt and kisses my stomach. What the fuck? So I just kind of freeze. I don't know what to do. And he kind of walks off, and he's laughing. And then I kind of like shake it off a little bit and go take the tray to the patient's room, set it up for them, and then I just go in the bathroom and I kind of just, I don't know, I stay in there for a good, 5-10 minutes. I remember these emotions that came over me. I felt really kind of sick, like I wanted to throw up, but I felt really like cold, like temperature-wise, and I felt really dirty, like I was like filthy. I felt violated. And I regrettably told one of my supervisors, and they called our agency because we were on an agency together, and they didn't put the guy back out there with me. He didn't get fired or anything, which thinking back, he fucking should have, but that was really embarrassing too. Like, I had to, like, tell these women, because all my supervisors were women, that this fucking guy pulled my shirt up and kissed me on the stomach. And I fucking let him. Without, like, beating the fuck out of him. Like, man, that shit really fucked me up. But, anyway, my friend told me that was sexual assault. I don't view that as sexual assault, but that shit did happen. It really fucked me up. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know, man. But, yeah. Sidestepping that question. All right. Let's go to question number 4. Oh, I'm going to take a little break because that's going to take a little while to answer that one. But it is, what's it like having a Scorpio moon? Now, for those of you who don't know what that is, that's some astrology stuff. So, real simple template. Moon represents your emotions. So, if you have whatever sign is for that moon, that's what your emotions are going to reflect. So if you're going to have a, let's say, Leo moon, your emotions are going to be that of like a Leo traits. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to answer that on the next one. All right, kids, be safe. All right, so the first question is, what is it like being straight edge? Okay. Well, I think it started when I was a child. I had some very irresponsible uncles who exposed me to marijuana at 4 years old, 5 years old. And then when I was 11 or 12, I tried cigarettes once. It made my mouth feel chalky, my hands stunk. I was choking off cigarette, nicotine, whatever. I never got the appeal. And then I tried alcohol. Yeah. I didn't get it. Gin burned my throat. Beer was bitter. I had to mix it with soda or something. I think I got drunk twice in my life. So I figured it wasn't worth it. And I'm cheap as hell. And I decided I didn't want to be vulnerable. After I was drunk on 2 different occasions, I felt weak. I felt vulnerable. I didn't like that. So I didn't want to be put in that situation again. So at the ripe old age of 19, I decided I'm going to be straight edge. I'm just not going to smoke or drink. Not going to do anything. Take pills. So it's been like that for over a decade. I'm real fun at parties. I'm a designated driver. Of course, when I first came out like this, a lot of my friends tried to get me to, drink, take a shot, take these pills, smoke a joint, whatever. But I never did. And after a while, I guess they got used to it, and I guess I earned their respect where I think it's because I don't judge. Some people in the straight edge community, they judge. They have shirts that say kill your drug dealer. You know, it's like kind of a self-righteous mantra. I don't need poison to cope with things and all that good stuff. I believe most of that's true, but I think there's a more tactful way to say it. If I'm in a social situation, I can just go up and talk to people if I want to or not or whatever. I don't need alcohol to get liquid courage. I don't need to relax by taking drugs or pills or smoking weed. Hey, to those who do you. Do your thing. It's just not my cup of tea. But I think that people respect me in that regard that I don't preach. I don't say I'm better than you because I'm straight edge. I don't need such and such to cope, or I don't preach you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that. Live your life. So this is just the choice and lifestyle I've made and live by. No pills. Even when I'm sick, I don't really take anything, actually, so. Luckily, I get sick once every few years. It just sucks when I do. But yeah, being straight edge is some look at it as a killjoy, or that I'm maybe a goody good. I'm flawed more than most. So yeah, I guess I'm always a designated driver. I'm always sober. So yeah, that's what it's like being straight edge to me. Being a person of conviction, not giving in, living by your own rules, just being sober, dealing with everything sober. Hey, what's up? It's December the 15th, 2017. This is the Beyond the Pale podcast. I'm Lobo. Let's get into it. I have 10 questions I'm going to answer, and we'll see what happens. All right, kids. Be safe.